What the hey, Megapodtastics, Krazy Joe coming to you on Sunday night, and I have just watched the season finale of Star Trek Discovery. Fair warning, there's going to be spoilers here. If you have not seen the season finale of Discovery, tune out now, because I'm going to talk spoilers. First of all, great episode, great season. I've said it before. I firmly believe that this is the best season one any Star Trek series has ever had. Now, to be fair, that really only puts it in competition with the original series because none of the other spin-off shows have really had a very good season one. The original Star Trek got worse as it went along. Season 1 and 2 were great, and then season 3 is considered to be the weak season. However, with all the others, they were considered to get better as they went along. The first two seasons of Next Generation are just unbearable. So maybe that's not high praise saying it's the best first season of a Star Trek show. But man, it was good. But I want to talk about that cliffhanger ending. If you saw it, they got a distress call from the Enterprise, and they have come face to face with the USS Enterprise, which looked beautiful, by the way. It looked just like the original Enterprise. They didn't change the design in any way, but they made it look. The rendering of it looked much more 2018 than 1966. So my wife and I immediately started debating who's going to play Spock. Because we know Spock at this point is already on the Enterprise. The first season of Discovery takes place, I think, 1 year, maybe 2 years. I think it's 1 year after the events of the original series pilot, The Cage. So Spock is on that ship. Now the question is, who's going to play Spock? I am of the opinion you have to get Zachary Quinto. You have to get him. Now, I know a lot of people do not like the Kelvin movies, and I've heard people online say, no, nothing with the Kelvin movies should have any connection with this new series. And quite frankly, I find that thinking childish, because even if you didn't like those movies, was your problem with the writing, or did you have a problem with Zachary Quinto's performance? Because I would think even if he didn't like the stories, and I certainly didn't like the second one, I did not like Into Darkness. I like the other two. But Quinto, I think, played the role perfectly. So it's not an issue with the performance. I think the people who don't like it don't like the story. So I don't see why your disliking the story should have any effect on what actor gets cast, because he was fine in the role. But more so than that, he had the blessing of Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy passed the torch on to him, so to speak. And it's if you're going to bring in an actor playing Spock other than Leonard Nimoy, I think how could you not bring in the one guy that Nimoy worked alongside of and approved of and gave his blessing to? It feels like you kind of have to. Now some people say, oh no, it's a different timeline. Okay, it's a different timeline, but they've established that the characters look to the same, because when Nimoy Spock ran into Chris Pine on the ice planet, he instantly recognized him as Captain Kirk. Now Pine doesn't look like Shatner, but to the character on screen, Spock looked at him and said, James T. Kirk. He knew who that was. So that establishes that just because it's a different universe doesn't mean they look different. These characters look the same to each other, to the characters. It's the same principle as Star Trek 3. Robin Curtis played Saavik, but nobody was like, Saavik, you look different. They recognized her as being Kirstie Alley. To them, there was no difference. So I think you got to get Quinto. I think it's a mistake if you don't get Quinto. And I don't know what they're going to do about the uniforms. There's a novel, a Star Trek Discovery novel, in which it was explained that different ships had different uniforms. So I kind of hope we see Pike and Spock wearing their original series uniforms with the collar, the turtleneck. Like, I'd like to see them wearing the Cage uniforms because that just would be a nice touch. Obviously, you're gonna have to update the bridge. It's gonna have to look newer, but I'd like to see some of the visual cues. So I don't know. I kind of think you got to do that. But I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. I hope we get word soon that Quinto is coming on to play Spock in season 2. We'll see. It's going to be a long wait for season 2. I can't wait to see it. Star Trek Discovery has been an amazing show. It's still too soon to say where it fits in my pantheon of Star Trek shows. But if we get one more season as good as season 1 was, I might say it's my second favorite. It really, the quality of the writing on season 1 was just so good. Deep Space Nine is my favorite. Right now, Deep Space Nine is my favorite. The original series is my second favorite. Man, Discovery could easily go to number 2 or number 3 if they bang out another season like this past season. So, looking forward to season 2. Keep on wearing those pajamas.